Hey, all my fantasy football friends out there. Welcome to the Multiple First channel. This is Tony, your host here with the Multiple First show. Today we have a excellent show prepared for you. I'm super excited about it. You have a situation where Greg and I are both drafting right now. We're going to talk about some draft boards. We had the Super Bowl, baby, only a couple days ago. The Chiefs and Eagles squared off to decide the champion of the 2022 NFL season. That was just an awesome game. Maybe not the most ideal ending, but just an incredible performance. I am joined, as always, by my partner Greg, the Velociraptor. How are you today, sir?
I'm good, man. That was a spicy ending to the game. Uh, I'm just going to throw it right at you. Right, we're not beating around the bush here. What did you think of the ending?
Yo, I mean that was a bad call, man. I mean that hold, I didn't really. I mean that's. I mean, was there some holding on the play? I guess. I mean, yeah, but like, did, I feel
I
like more egregious things than that happen regularly that don't get flagged. In just a normal game stance. So
I thought it was a perfectly good call, man. I
okay,
got to tell
all
you,
right.
I you can't pull the jersey away from the body. It's one of those like well, there are ways you're like offensive linemen hold on every play, but there
Yeah.
are like ways you're allowed to hold and ways you're really not allowed to hold, and you can't get the jersey from behind and tug a guy back. It's just
Yeah.
like
They all try to be
that,
sneaky with like their backhand grabbing the hip or like the jersey like that. Yeah. Like I get
and
it.
I just think he did it too much, and he knew he got caught. I don't know. I got it. He didn't object on the field, and he didn't object in the locker room because I think that's one of those things that it may not have looked super bad, but it was actually kind of bad, and he got kind of caught. That's my take. I think people are being a little harsh on the officiating on that one.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know. It's just you don't like seeing games decided that late by a flag. I mean, be it justified or not, it's like that just stinks when that occurs. I think a lot of the problem is the automatic first down framing of that rule is maybe like that doesn't have to be a part of it because that's what really broke it. I mean, the 5 yards like wouldn't have even got him the first, but you get an automatic
No,
first
it was the
down.
first
That's
down.
yeah,
I think on some level, one of the things that the defenders needed to know before that play, though, this would be my counter to that, is they needed to know that an illegal contact penalty was worse than giving up a touchdown.
yeah.
They needed to know that before the snap.
Yeah, and that's
And like,
apparent
you
by the
play
get
this
and
snap,
slide a couple plays
yeah,
later. Yeah.
right? Because if that's a touchdown, then they're getting the ball back with plenty of time to go down and get a touchdown and tie, right?
Yep.
But um, if it's a automatic five, like, gosh, I mean, if they had gotten the five in an automatic first and scored a touchdown, they might have taken the penalty.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's interesting to think about. They might have. But it was a great game though. I mean, I really enjoyed watching it, and I got to watch it with some family, and like it had some incredible food, and it was good. It was would you say it was like one of the all not maybe not an all time Super Bowl, but definitely one you're gonna remember and you enjoyed
It
watching.
was a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been we have been fortunate to get some really good ones. I'm a little older than you. When I was growing up, the Super Bowl was definitely going to be a bad game and a blowout.
Yeah.
Was like late night comedy fodder. Um, like that was a joke, right? And I grew up when the NFC won 13 straight Super Bowls. I don't know if
Ooh,
you
go
have
Niners.
any memory of that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and two for the Giants and two for Washington, um, and then Dallas with three in there. And like it was a long
Yeah.
time,
I didn't even know that was a thing to be honest with you. But yeah, go on.
13 in a row,
Yeah, that's fine.
right? And most of them were not good games.
Yeah.
Like the vast majority of them were not good games. And so, man, this one was up there, but so was the Nick Foles game. So was Russell Wilson picked at the goal line. So was the David Tyree catch. So we like in the last 20 years, we've had some really, really good games. I think we're in a good era of them. Even the last 7, 8 years, we've had some really good games. This one was one I will remember. It was really good. Uh, Jalen Hurts showed he belonged.
Oh yeah, no, that's a big takeaway from the game. Hurts look great. I mean, if you're drafting right now, I mean, you could just if you're in Superflex and you just take Jalen Hurts as a top 5 pick, that's fine. Like that's so that you could do that and feel so confident and comfortable, which a year ago was not the case. He was in the third round regularly, and there were genuine concerns if he was going to lose his job. I remember that being a big narrative with him. But boy, he looked fantastic. I mean, he looked the part, going shot for shot from Mahomes with Mahomes the whole night.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, I don't want to cut all of this talk, Super Bowl talk, short, but I hear you are on the clock with just a few minutes left in one of your leagues, and you wanted to
Yo,
make a pick.
I'm picking.
Uh,
Yeah, I got 12 minutes to go here on this 4-hour clock that everyone's been so patient and let me wind down. So let me talk to the viewer here about what we're doing. We have a 14-team Superflex startup, 14 Superflex. It's a 6-point passing touchdown. Here's the starting roster size: 3 wide, 2 flexes, 1 tight end, 2 RBs. And then it's full PPR, so full point PPR with a quarter of a point for a tight end premium, so 0.25 extra for the tight end. The traditional there is like 1.5 is what you see, but there's been one trade made. It wasn't really a blockbuster deal. I have not made any trades myself. We derbied into the 1.6 slot. I took Justin Herbert. I figured it would come down to, so the draft went Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Burrow. I figured I'd get Herbert or Lawrence. I preferred Herbert of the two, and I got to make my selection, so I was able to get Herbs. We took Bryce Young in the second round, but yeah, I'm on the clock here in the third. The rookies are live, as you can tell here. There's just drafting the rookies by name live in the draft.
wow. Yep. So I mean, I'm just looking at this, and it's amazing. So it's a 14-team league, so it's bigger, right? But you had 9 quarterbacks in the first,
Yeah,
4 more in the second, right? So you're at 13,
it's actually 10
and
in the
then
first, and then 4 in the second, with Dak
2.
at the end there. So
Oh, 10,
16 quarterbacks have been selected by my third rounder here.
10 for 16, right?
Yeah,
So
yep.
half of next year's starters. Kenny Pickett is a third rounder.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And by the way, I know it's a bigger league, but that's pick 33. So that's a third rounder, isn't it? 28 and 5,
Yeah, it's like a
33.
late
So
third in the
so
traditional.
that's a late third rounder, even in a 12-team format.
Yep.
And of course, the 14-team format makes them worth more, but because you need 28 starters instead of 24 out of 32, right? That's a higher percentage, but still, like, that's just shocking, and what's left gets real sketchy, right? So, you could take Trey Lance, you could take Kirk Cousins, and
Russ, Will
force
Levis,
people.
interesting. Yeah, just keep squeezing quarterback. Take my
You
third.
could
Yeah,
you could do that.
I don't like doing that at all.
I
I've done it in the
know,
past.
but it's tempting the way, like, you could. It would be really nice if the quarterbacks kept running and you got most of the same position players
Yeah,
coming back to you the next time.
yeah.
And then I'm looking at the other things. ETN kind of jumps for me. Um, Tyreek is older, but goodness, is he good?
Pitts and Andrews
Um,
jump out at me. I mean, I'm tight ends so deep, and I know there's going to be more tight ends I'm going to like at my selection moving down the list, but like those two dudes, just kind of ETN's up there for me as well. I don't know. If we want rookie, it would be what, Gibbs. I don't think I'd take one of these rookie receivers in this spot with the other players available. Um,
yeah, no.
we talked about Metcalf.
Metcalf.
He's like,
I like Metcalf a lot,
yeah.
but
Metcalf's kind
um,
of he's the young receiver to take here, right? Because you got Hill, is 28, Diggs 29, Cup's 29, like all these 28 plus receivers, and then Metcalf's sitting here at 25 years old. He's kind of
some
like the
people will tell you Drake London, but
no, maybe.
but no, I think, yeah, Metcalf is the young receiver. Hill is the old receiver. Pitts, and then ETN for me is the last top 5 running back,
Yeah.
and then there's kind of a tier break, right? There's Bijan, he's kind of like 1, and then I think it's Hall, Walker, Taylor, and ETN is kind of the next group, and so there's one of those left. So I think that's your choice profile here. I get the Pitts pick.
Yeah, I've been a big proponent of having Andrews over Pitts, and now that I'm like, it's in my face, I'm actually leaning into the Pitts in my mind. So I don't know. It's just doing, it's hurting my head. It's making me dizzy a little bit.
He's a baby.
Yeah.
He's like, will he ever be worth this? I don't know, but like, how do you feel about his value insulation?
How do I feel about his value insulation? I don't see him falling off a cliff anytime soon, I guess. But like, it's tough because Pitts hasn't helped his owners the last 2 seasons, and I just don't want to be that owner who takes a hit because they took Pitts. And I feel like that's not going to happen with Andrews, like, ever. He's just too major a part of that offense.
I mean, you've got a free agent quarterback.
Yeah.
He was only the tight end for last year. I mean, it was good. He wasn't special last year for you in that same way.
Sure.
He didn't do what he last year was a worse. Last year's Mark Andrews season was a worse season than Travis Kelce has had since 2015. Mm-hmm. Right. So Mark Andrews is a great player, but he is not the next Travis Kelce. How about that?
Sure. So what do you expect from Pitts next season? I mean, is Pitts going to put up a top 5 tight end season? Because if he's not, I don't think I want him with this pick. Because if he doesn't, finish in at least the top half, top 6 tight ends, top 5 at least, then he's going to be worth less this time next year.
I think. Yes, I think he will. I think his median outcome is that. Yes. But like, there's a strong 1 in 3 chance that he really disappoints you, and you take a value hit. It's a riskier pick.
So is ETN better than taking the risk? Median out. Because I agree that ETN's probably the skill position player I lean into, him or Metcalf. Right, that's kind of the 4.
ETN, I think Metcalf is very safe. ETN is 24 years old. I mean, by the way, I think Najee Harris is 24 years old and is in his 2nd year, and like,
he's going into his 3rd year now, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the same draft class and the same age as ETN. Right. ETN missed a year, right? But like, that's there. By the way, you could take Saquon.
I could just take Saquon.
You could just take Saquon and try to win some games. I know that's not your. I know that's not your year one. Yeah. That's not your year 1 bag.
Yeah.
But
and I made a bunch of offers out, and we'll review them here. But the clock's ticking, so we got to make a pick. And believe me, I sent out a ton of trades, like probably 20. I mean,
listen, Pitts is the swing for the fence. Pitts is the swing for the fence. I think ETN is safe with a ceiling. I think Metcalf is safe with less ceiling. Like, I don't think Geno Smith is going to make him a super duper star, but like, also, this is a guy whose PPR finish has been top 16 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
It's not nothing.
Who's the safest pick for the next 3 years? I'm not really sweating the lifetime of this.
Metcalf.
Metcalf's the safest pick for the
Metcalf is the safest pick for the next 3 years, 25, 26, 27. I
think you're right.
He's been paid. He's already good. If you wanted to get a little creative, Tyreek Hill probably has 3 more years, at the end of which you have no value left.
It's true. Yeah.
If you wanted the most production from 3 years, without any residual value, it's Tyreek Hill. The other guys, Adams, Diggs, I have less faith in that 3rd year. Kupp. But Hill, I think you get 3 years that are very good.
So we're trying to win some games then. So have I already taken myself out of upfront contention with Bryce Young? So hard to say without a landing spot or combine even.
No, man, you got 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think you should just.
Who are you taking here?
I think you should take Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I kind of think you should, but I would probably take ETN. I would probably take ETN. But like a big part of me, like I don't own any Tyreek Hill anywhere because I don't own a lot of older receivers
Yeah.
unless I already owned them, you know.
Mhm.
But I think he's just pretty great
Tyreek
at
is.
football. He's just pretty great
He
at
is
football,
pretty great at
man.
football, yeah.
And he's not that old. He turned
No.
28 like late in the season.
His career high in receiving yards. It's pretty good. 170 targets. It's probably not going
There's a
anywhere.
lot of targets.
That's a lot of targets, man. I never take players this old, this early, like older.
I know,
It's
right?
Like so
But
out of my wheelhouse.
like I know a lot of people think Justin Jefferson is easily the best receiver in football, but I think it's still Tyreek Hill, and he's only 28. It is not how I like to build my teams, but there's a big thing there. I think if I were making this pick, I would take Travis Etienne.
Yeah, I'm on board with the Etienne pick. I think we're going to try to take like a hero RB approach, and I'm going to just be going receiver for the next several rounds in a row, if you look at the way this thing goes. So I like taking the pressure off the RB1. I think I am going to go Etienne. Etienne as the 3, 4, 5, 6, as the 7th RB off the board. And clearly the only guy left in his tier of like age and stuff. Oh, and Najee is right there with him, I guess. But
Yeah, I mean, some people have differing opinions on Swift, but like he's Etienne for me is the one I feel safe about. And there's also upside to that offense.
Yeah.
Like you just know there's upside to that offense.
Hard on taking tight end. None of them are going to come back around.
I mean,
That's
TJ
cute.
will.
Yeah. All right, Etienne's a pick. Let's go. Love it.
All right. There we go.
This is my only share of him. It's the first one.
I love that.
Yeah,
Good
let's
for
go,
you.
baby. Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do some buys and sells.
Buy it, sell it, love it. Gotta have it.
Okay. As always, especially here for us at Multiple Firsts, is we like to look for some opportunities to buy high and sell low. These are obviously special opportunities. You don't want to buy at the peak and sell it at the floor, but you're looking for what seem like players who are definitively high, but they're going higher because those are players you can get. There's always somebody on the other side trying to sell the bump or buy the dip or whatever, right? So for me, my buy high this week is Trevor Lawrence at the quarterback 8, which is very high. He's the quarterback 8 on Dynasty Trade Calculator. I believe he's the quarterback 7 on Keep Trade Cut.
Yeah.
But and I don't even think he belongs higher than that. Right?
Just like where he is now, but he's going to keep growing.
I might have him at the quarterback 6. But I just think he's almost certainly in a year going to be priced where Joe Burrow is.
Yeah.
And then you won't be able to get him. And I think now is the last chance you can get him before he becomes like one of those guys where you're, what would the price be for Patrick Mahomes? And the owner's like, I'm not trading Mahomes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas, so like, I think in some sense, I don't even know that Lawrence's trade value goes up. He just becomes ungettable.
Yeah.
In a year.
He's a great consolation prize right now if you're in that middle first territory of your draft. He didn't roll high. You could just scoop Lawrence in that 6, 7, 8. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. I will take him 6 after the top 5 guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he might not go higher than 6 next year, but like I think he's just going to be unattainable in the same way that you call on Jalen Hurts right now and they just don't answer. Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's my buy high. People will take calls on him. He is my most owned quarterback. I bought so many shares last offseason. And I think this is going to go very well for your teams that have Trevor Lawrence. That's my buy high.
Love it. Yeah, we loved Lawrence last season, and now we're feeling good about it. Tony's buy high is rookie picks that are any 23 second rounder and also like early thirds. So I'm not going to go through every single name, but I can tell you the way this draft is shaping up is the depth of skill positions, the depth of running back specifically is crazy. And like if you look at some Dynasty Superflex rookie mocks, and you'll see, into the middle of the third is just dudes who could easily, very reliably, reasonably grow into every week type starter for your team. So just try to buy these picks up. Pre NFL draft, you're still kind of a buy window to get some of them. But like as you look through the rankings charts and look at all of the players and where they're lined up, those rookies that are going to go through those areas are the biggest buys among them. It's just hard to know which individual names. I mean, we'll get more clarity moving forward, but like get you some rookie picks from like that 15 to 25 range because you're going to be happy with those later on in life, like 15 to 30 range.
All right, this was my next question. Define early third.
Just anything in the first half of the third round. So
all the way through. Okay, you think it's that deep? Okay.
Yeah, 30, about 30, top 30 is all looking pretty good right now.
Okay. I mean, I think that's yeah. So you've got running backs and possibly some the wide receivers falling into that range. All right.
Yeah, tight end class back down to like 7, 8, 9. Seems like dudes who have put it out there, and you're gonna have receivers that got good draft capital just due to the receiver inflation in the NFL side. So even though it's a downer year for receivers, but like the top, there's still gonna be 6 or 7 of them that get top 50 capital.
Right.
I'm thinking. So you take all that and mix it together with 4 first-round quarterbacks, a deep tight end class, and it's like it just all adds up, man. And
and then maybe some second round quarterback if some of that materializes.
Totally, yeah.
I think Hendon Hooker, it remains a guy who I think is going to rise late in the draft process. So yeah, okay, yeah, I pretty much love that. Would you trade your random 2024 second for the 208?
Yeah, I would. I like moving forward in time like that.
For the 210?
I think so. Yeah, I would take that 101 to go up in time. Yep, a year's time is worth that, I think. It'd be a little bit introspection on my team. Like I got to be going for it, but yeah.
Okay. Would you take the 301 for your contending team's 24 second round?
A lot's going to depend on the board at that time in that individual league.
Maybe on draft day, but not.
That's I would strongly consider it. Right, looking at some of the names that are going to be in that area, like yes. I mean, I lean more towards yes than no, on a broad scale.
All right, and let me ask you one final question: does how deep you'll go into the third round and how much you like this depend on how much your league values tight end?
Yeah, that'll play into it for sure. Yes, because you got to wait on those guys a lot.
In a one tight end, no premium.
Yeah.
How deep are you going with these third rounds? Like 302, 303, like or all the way to 306?
302.
Okay, gotcha.
It's probably about 5 tight ends,
right,
that are like worthy of of that kind of pick.
Yeah. Okay. So then you go into the 306, 307 in your tight end premiums and all of those stuff. Okay.
4.
Very good. I love it. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of tight ends, I am selling low on Dalton Schultz.
Goodbye, Dalton Schultz.
Yep. Which is bad news for our 24/7 365 league. But I don't think they're going to retain him. And I don't think his value holds up very well when he goes somewhere else where maybe they don't have a good offense and have too many cap dollars, so they pay a middle class tight end too much money. You know what I mean? I don't think that ends very well for anybody. When he was, what was he, tight end 4, tight end 5, just in 2021?
Yeah.
And
It's 3.
he's tight end 10 right now. If
yeah.
I could get back end tight end 1 stuff, like, I don't know, the 203 in this class or something, I'd take that.
Do you just think he's like not a talented tight end? He's kind of buoyed by the offense. Is that?
I think he is.
He's a jag. Is what you're saying about him? Kind of.
Mostly a jag who
Yeah.
has a bit of a knack for being a zone beater, and has a really good Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Like, he was not good, even though the offense was okay when Dak was out. He vanished. And then, like, as soon as Dak came back, Schultz got, Schultz was a key target for Dak Prescott.
Sure.
So I really don't like his chances if he leaves.
So is Ferguson just a mega buy for you then?
Yes, Ferguson is a guy I would buy low.
Okay.
And Hendershot is a guy I have added for free everywhere where I had, ad spots, and he was on the wire. It wouldn't surprise me if they made it a competition with Ferguson as the substantive favorite.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's good.
That's my take.
I'm gonna be selling low right now on Mr. Miles Sanders. I think we've used him as a sell low before in the show. So, but yeah, like Eagles are getting linked to running back pretty regularly in these drafts upcoming. They're a team that's in that position where they're so. Like, anytime you take a high running back, that's a luxury pick. They call that. And the Eagles are in position to do that because their roster's so loaded. And that could mean bad things for Sanders. We could see a Gibbs or, even Bijan. Any of these tailbacks could land in Philly, and with first or second round pick. So, and Sanders' contract is up, right? He could just walk. Who knows what they're going to do with him? I'm selling. Miles Sanders finished as like the RB12, I think. And now he's valued as the RB20. I'd still let him go. If I could get one of those high seconds for him, I'd strongly consider an offer like that. Probably take it.
I think that, or 203, 202.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you turn that into take Bigsby or a Charbonnet. But, like, one of the things about it's not that Miles Sanders is less talented than those guys, but it's like somebody is going to tell you they have a plan for one of these kids, right? And then they're going to be on a contract where that it's going to be advantageous for them to make use of them.
Yeah.
Whereas Miles Sanders, like, man, he could end up in a situation that's mostly dictated by who has free cap dollars and not fitting his talents very well. And, I think there are a lot of worries about him, where he could end up in a place where he's a luxury piece. I think that the running back market is going to be very cruel this year to a lot of people.
Yeah, the depth of the rookie class is going to make things, pretty bummer for most of these free agent RBs. I think we're going to see like several different situations where like it's a new incoming free agent running back and a drafted guy, and both competing for the top dog in that back. And you're going to have to make decisions throughout the offseason, like real decisions as to what your projections are for these backfields. It's going to be nifty.
And when you think about it too, like where does Miles Sanders even fit in this free agent class? Right?
Yeah.
He's behind Saquon, right? He's behind Josh Jacobs.
Who do you want on your real NFL team? Miles Sanders
right.
or David Montgomery?
Probably David Montgomery.
I think so too.
Right?
Yeah.
Who do you want on your real NFL team? Miles Sanders or Tony
Pollard for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So like,
so that puts him at like fifth in the class.
How much more are you willing to pay Miles Sanders than Devin Singletary?
How many rookie tailbacks do you like more than Miles Sanders that you could just take a shot on in like the fourth round? Because the depth of the class, I'm sorry I keep circling back to that, but the depth of the class at RB is going to force them all down the board more to get, teams are going to be willing to wait on the position. So
Do you want to pay Miles Sanders? Let's just say
the
do
money
you want to
factor.
pay Miles Sanders, uh, or do you want to pay a lot less for Alexander Madison?
Yeah, totally.
If you need a guy to compete to hold the place until the rookies come in.
Yep.
Or Damian Harris. Are you sure Miles Sanders is a better player than Damian Harris, who had 15 touchdowns last year?
Yep.
I don't. You know, it's an ugly place, and like the Eagles clearly don't. It's not like the Eagles want him back if he's super cheap. Didn't look like, did it?
No, no. No.
Right. So yeah, I think you're not going to get a lot, but if you could get a second round. Now, the one thing I will say about Miles Sanders is maybe wait until he signs somewhere.
Yeah, that's probably the sell window.
I don't know,
right there.
like that. Maybe that day you're like, ooh, right? Or the first visit rumors. I don't know, but yeah, I would definitely try to move out on him.
He seems like the type of guy where like a team would sign him and everyone would be like, "This is their lead dog back for sure," and then they still use the second round pick on a tailback. It just makes things gross. And he sees this big spike like in the off season.
Yep.
Yeah.
You read my mind, man. That's exactly what I was thinking about.
All right, so who we buying low on, man?
Okay, so I got some guys
just lows. Yeah.
Going into free agency.
Yeah.
I just think there's this little window here where you're trying to look at the impending free agency and this next 2-week period, 3-week period where teams are going to decide which of their guys with a roster bonus the fourth day of the league year are going to get cut and all that stuff. So those are guys who are about to be free agents who we don't know they're going to be free agents yet. And you're kind of looking at that whole thing and saying, who's going to come out of the initial free agent frenzy worth more?
Yeah.
And I think this is a time for me where it's a good opportunity to shop for some guys. Okay. So I think Mac Jones is a real screaming buy now at quarterback 22. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm interested in it. It's weird because I really like Bailey Zappi in like the super late like dart throw QB area. Because
I don't hate that either.
They use a lot of capital on Mac, but I think that it could turn into a real competition scenario, and Zappi's done enough where he could actually win that. I'm not saying he's the truth and Zappi's their starter, but like it's close enough between these two guys. You have to imagine it's close enough for like the Patriots staff that if they're going to play the better player of the two, okay, and that could be Bailey, totally could. But Mac, that insecurity is why he's down there. But does he represent a buy there? I think so, because the Patriots offense is going to put up volume passing attempts. So
yeah, I think the change in staff is real. Like, this is a guy who was good as a rookie. He was good as a rookie.
Yeah.
It was not great, but he was good. And then, whatever happened, like, I don't know what that was, but like they hired a defensive coordinator to be their offensive coordinator. I don't know what they were doing, but like that worked really badly.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
So like to me, just remember where he was 12 months ago, and like this is a buy window. It's not a huge I don't want to pay more than quarterback 22 price, right? But he's the quarterback 22. I want to, Russ was in our sell low during the year, and like he's gotten low enough that you might buy some back now, right? You got Sean Payton, and he's still the quarterback 23. That's low. Matthew Stafford, quarterback 24, right? Like, what are the odds that Matthew Stafford is a high-end quarterback 2 for you this year?
What are the odds that Stafford's a high-end quarterback 2? If he's healthy, decent, I think.
Very high if
pretty good.
Very high if he plays. If he and Cooper Kupp both play all season, he's going to do that.
Yeah, for the extent that they're going to be on the field together, they're going to be good.
Right?
Good for fantasy anyway. It might not. Who knows if they win games? Yeah.
I also wanted to point at Sam Howell, right? Like now is a moment where Sam Howell is a guy I'm trying to get thrown into trades.
Yeah, that's insane. What's going on with him? Do you really think he's the starter for Washington like next season?
I think. Gosh, do you have any rosters where you've got two really good quarterbacks and you don't have a backup?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. It's like
Okay,
the best.
like go find the Sam Howell owner,
Hmm.
and then go find a different player on that team that you want to acquire, and like work out a deal, and then um, find a way to make Sam Howell try to make Sam Howell
Go get him as your
the
QB
guy you
three.
get, because like
Yeah.
it sounds like they might be like these are the noises you make if you're thinking maybe we see if Sam Howell is good, and if he isn't, we blow Ron Rivera out the door and tank for Caleb.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Someone's wanted
Right?
him. Mhm.
Like maybe Sam Howell is good, and maybe Caleb Williams is good. Right? Like this to
I
me
think
is
we
the
know
kind of
Caleb Williams is
noises.
good.
Right? Like
Yeah.
those are the kind of noises you make way early, because like what is your plan going to be like? If you're getting rid of, if you want to take for Caleb Williams, who do you want? Do you want Sam Howell or do you want Tyler Heineke?
I want whoever's going to give me the most cap space, which is probably Howell, and you can just move on from Heineke.
No, you don't want the the most cap space. You want the most losses.
Well, yeah, yeah, you do, but Heineke got that extension. I think he's making like 10 million, but I'd have to look it up. But
But he's
like,
a little scrapper.
yeah,
That's like
but yes, we're
that's
saying you
to me
cut
my
him, you
point.
get rid of him. We're saying we have the
Okay.
same answer for different reasons here.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I'm just
yeah,
he's got to be yeah, even if they're on the same team, I think you want us to like that Taylor Heineke is going to win you 6 games, right? Like
unfortunately, yeah.
I kind of think you want to. I kind of think there's a pretty good chance that Sam Howell, um, and maybe they have a totally different thing, but they're going to get rid of wins,
Yeah.
right? I don't know.
Who you buying at the running back position?
We did you have a buy low quarterback?
Oh yeah, there's a quarterback I have. So I want to, I've been trying to like fish through these guys and like outside the top 30 that are interesting to me, and a player that I have a good bit of shares in is Tyler Huntley, like already. And keep targeting and bring him in. So the unlikely Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley. Only because we don't know what's going to happen with Lamar, and I do feel like he's going to resign. They're going to get worked out, but there might be a holdout situation. Trade seems unlikely. It's almost there's more likely a trade of Huntley away than of Lamar, but just just as a handcuff, Huntley seems like one of, if not the most valuable handcuffs in the game. So just the super low buy. This guy's quarterback 33 on KTC. It's like really low value player who could help you win games in fantasy is Tyler Huntley because you know when you're rostering backup quarterbacks, you just want people who like will make a difference if they get the start. Like having Colt McCoy on your team doesn't matter even if he's starting, but you got to have a guy who, if he gets a start, is he going to help you win? Could you start him on your side? And Huntley's a guy like that. I mean, he didn't really display that mostly in his starts this season, but I'm still willing to take a shot on Tyler Huntley.
Okay, so according to according to Keep Trade Cut,
There goes
what would
Tyreek.
that be worth?
Tyreek just went in my draft, and Jameer Gibbs was the pick after mine. Sorry, just checking in.
I saw that. Yeah, now
Yeah,
he'd be worth about the 401. You give a 401 for Huntley if you didn't have three good quarterbacks already.
yeah, especially if I'm a Lamar owner, for sure. But yeah, I'd be willing to send
Okay,
out that flyer if I'm not like swimming in QBs.
love it. All right, uh, I got a couple of running backs I really want to look at. Now you know me, my nearly free running backs who have a chance to be in season, very meaningful plays for parts of the year is kind of like my favorite thing in all of the things. Um, uh, uh, Jerick McKinnon was just one of my favorite things about the 22 season. So here's some guys I'm adding very cheaply early. Man, Rashad Penny is out of sight, out of mind,
Yeah, he
and
is. Left for dead.
I think he's a better player than Miles Sanders. He's never healthy, but like I think he is I think he might be a better player than David Montgomery when he's healthy. Um like he if I needed two or three cheap options I would bring in Rashad Penny as one, like
Yeah.
as an NFL team.
Yeah.
I would bring in Rashad Penny as an inexpensive one of those. And give him, and like my first hope would be this is the year he stays healthy and has the one really good year of his career.
Yeah.
And he is the running back 58 right now.
It's insane. It's so low.
That's too cheap for a guy who, like won you titles just 2 years ago as a late season replacement, but just like you could see what that guy has in him. And then 3 guys I want to look at because they are second year backs who are the injury away guy behind high performing backs are Pierre Strong, running back 99, Isaiah Spiller, running back 69, and Zamir White, running back 63. Like that's those are also guys you should be out there trying to get thrown into trade and get those guys into your bench area so that you can run light running back early in the season. And then late in the season, you're bringing in reinforcements of like high end injury away guys who have gotten their opportunity. And not only that, Zamir White has a free agent in front of him. I think Josh Jacobs probably goes back, but like 60-40 probably. And I think they probably bring in somebody over him if Jacobs leaves, but like 60-40 probably, right?
It was weird just not seeing any White at all this season. You know, I really thought he'd get some share, like a little bit, but it just was almost not used at all.
Listen, don't overpay for these guys. He's running back 63 in DTC, right? So don't pay running back 50 prices. Don't pay running back 45 prices. That's defeating the whole purpose of this conversation.
Yeah, get him way cheap, like for
nothing.
Yeah.
If his owner doesn't want to do that, check the Spiller owner, right? Like the Spillers even had bad news this offseason. Like, there's been good talk about Josh Kelly, right?
Yeah.
So that's not good news for Spiller, which has made him even cheaper, right? And Pierre Strong, I think the Patriots are going to spend some significant capital, but it is possible that they just say Stevenson's the guy and Strong is the
other guy,
the James White piece.
Yeah, second option. Yeah.
That is a thing. So those are some things. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the running back 54.
He was inactive for the Super Bowl. It's rough.
Okay. Do you know where he's going to end up eventually?
Kansas City? I don't know.
Cincinnati.
Oh, you think so? Yeah,
with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it could be.
He's going to go play with Joe Burrow. He's going to not be the lead back, but he's going to be the satellite back. And he's going to be worth more than running back 54. I just like keep an eye out for him hitting your wires.
Yeah, that's not something I'm going to leave on the wire. I definitely would go get.
Just keep an eye out for somebody.
He's spot in Dynasty.
Yeah, keep an eye out.
The Chiefs have the 5th-year option on him. You have to think they're not going to pick that up.
No, they will not.
So, like, he's just had his 3rd year, so he's coming into what could be his walk season. I could see it.
But he's going to make a lot of money.
This time next year, Clyde should be worth more than he is right now. Or maybe like 18 months from now, because he'll have to go sign with his new team.
Yeah. I just think this is definitely a buy window. But I also think there's a chance he gets... There has to be a chance he gets cut. I think his value would go way up if he got cut.
Is it more like he gets cut or works into a regular involvement role?
More likely that he gets cut.
Yeah,
or
I think so too. Yeah.
I think there's a decent chance he gets moved.
Yeah.
One other guy I didn't even put it on our show sheet, but he's a guy I'm adding for free where I can, is Myles Gaskin.
Ooh, I just gas man. Choo-choo.
I think he's a better player.
He is. Yeah.
Than he was done dirt in the last year or so, and like I think somebody's going to sign him into maybe chance to compete for something. I don't know. So those are some names. Wide receivers. You want to go first?
Yo, wide receiver buys right now. So wide receiver I like is Jacoby Myers, the slot receiver for the New England Patriots. This guy, I just love the story on this player. Jacoby Myers is an undrafted free agent, and so rarely do you see that from a receiver actually become anything at all. He did it for the Patriots, which is one of the hardest organizations you'd have to do that with, and all this guy's done has been good. Just been a quality player for them. Maybe he hasn't produced at elite levels for fantasy, but he's been a darn good football player for the New England Patriots. And he's going to hit the free agency market. This guy has the Christian Kirk narrative all over him. Someone's going to pay him, and he's going to get used a lot in that offense. And right now, he's the wide receiver 48, according to Keep Trade Cut rankings. I mean he's a throw-in type player you could get in a deal. You could probably send a late third-round rookie to go get Jacoby Myers, maybe. I would buy him though, man. He's got soft hands. He knows how to play the game. He's big. Like he's got a nice PPR floor for whatever team ultimately brings him in.
Would you give your 304 for
Jacoby Myers?
If you were a contending team?
Yeah, if you could right
Young
now,
contending
probably
team.
would. Yeah, especially because most of my leagues are 3 wide, and he's much better than a receiver you would find in that area. I feel confident in that. It's just, would a running back dart throw be worth more? Probably not. I probably would take Jacoby.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So one I really is Nico Collins, who is currently trading as the wide receiver of 58.
Yeah.
And for me, he flashed a little bit this year when he didn't have a huge opportunity, but there was a period where when Cooks went down and started having trouble with the team, Collins stepped in, was the wide receiver 1 for a while, and passed the eye test, had some secondary numbers that I thought were very encouraging. Had 10, 7, 9, and 10 target span.
The target volume stretch is interesting.
Yeah, and I think there's a really decent chance that he is like the lead wide receiver in week 1 next year, right? Maybe with a second round rookie, right? Like I think they've got the 2 first round picks, but you kind of imagine like quarterback, defender with the new defensive head coach, and maybe you get a second round rookie, but then it's like Collins as the 1, and I think
I see him mock the receiver a lot in that second role. I mean, they could definitely do it like that, but
I think Ryans makes it
something at receiver.
They will, but I think Ryans makes it more likely they go defender. Than before, at least.
Yeah. It's just they might get their first choice of pass catcher. Maybe at 12.
Maybe, but like I think Nico Collins showed some stuff, and then I also think I think John Mechie is not a terrible buy too right now. But when they get a quarterback there and a refreshed start, I think it's going to turn out that those guys were decent weapons waiting for somebody to throw them the football.
Yeah.
And I would pay wide receiver 58 prices for Nico Collins, and I think you'll get like plus wide receiver, like low end wide receiver 3 production from him would be kind of my median outcome. And I think you're getting a big discount on that. In these leagues where we play 3 wide receivers and 2 flexes, I think you could easily see a situation where he's your 4th or 5th wide receiver starting every single week. And you got him for
really
very little.
Too, because of his
and the ceiling is huge. He's a big play guy.
He could just blow. I mean, small percentage chance, but he could just blow the doors off his ADP. Could.
Frame, all that for speed.
In that area of the draft.
So the pieces you would have to give up to get a guy like that are not substantial. And that is why I am very interested in Nico Collins. The yards per catch has been very big both years. So anyway, who else you got?
Yo, I like buying Mike Williams right now. I don't want to go in too much depth with him, but he's the wide receiver 33 on KTC. There's like 50-50 they release Keenan Allen or not. Mike has been a big-time performer, and at least the last couple years. I just want guys in the herbosphere, and that seems really cheap for a dude who could be super productive and is only 28. Who you got?
And last name for me, tight end Mike
Yeah.
Gesicki. He is currently the tight end 30 on Dynasty Trade Calculator. This is a guy who desperately needs to go somewhere else, right? Like he had a very productive 3-season run. Like he did nothing as a rookie. If you look at his performance,
Yeah.
and then he was the PPR tight end 12, 7, 9 for 3 years, and then he was a free agent. They tagged him, and his targets last year on playing on the tag went from 112 to 52.
Yeah. That's rough.
And he was unplayable in every way. His peripherals were the same, like 6.96 yards per target in 21, 6.96 yards per target in 22, 10.68 yards per catch in 21, 11.3 in 22. All of his peripherals are the same, but he was just frozen out of the offense.
Yeah, I wonder what was up there. I wonder if there was like off-field like stuff that was hurting him. Maybe he's, I don't know. Just wondering.
I know he got crosswise. Well, I don't think he was used correctly in any way. They were changing, like when they were making those tag decisions, McDaniel had been in the building for 3 weeks. Right. So it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to lose that guy. That's not too expensive to tag a tight end.
Yep.
And then you get it there and you're like, I don't really have a place for him in my scheme. I think that's really
the Chargers in the offseason. What do you think?
I think through the roof, man.
Yeah, it'd be like,
through the roof.
Insane. All right.
Yes.
It would be.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He might take a lesser market deal too to like play with an elite quarterback who can revive his career because he's younger. So
he absolutely
that's
might.
Chargers are going to be looking to do.
I mean, who else is out there? Good young quarterback needs a tight end.
Depending on what the Jets do, they need a tight end.
Yeah, the Jets.
That offense.
The Jets need a tight end.
Signing within their division a lot, so it makes sense.
If Lamar goes somewhere, Lamar's going to need a tight end.
Yeah, good landing spots.
There are a reasonable number of places that a tight end could go and get some immediate playing time. And I just think he's a good player. He's a better player than Dalton Schultz, man.
Yeah. No, the Cowboys could just cycle into Gesicki and maybe sign him for less than they would have paid to keep Schultz and have a better football player.
I think that's right.
That could happen.
He's an athletic freak. He's a mismatch. Yeah. Tight end 30. This is a guy who has 3 tight end 1 seasons in the last 4 years, and he's still young. Go get me that.
Yeah. Go be the tight end 2 for the Niners. No, probably not. But what do we got? You and I made a trade, man.
Oh, very good.
Bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
So last week, who was your sell low?
Bro, my sell low last week was Drake London.
Uh-huh.
I let Drake London. I said I'll let him go. He's down, but that's fine. He could go bye-bye. And Greg, in the one league that I own Drake London, we play together. And he sent me, we traded some offers back and forth, yeah?
We did. I was trying to give you Christian Kirk and stuff.
I wasn't going to take it.
Yeah, I mean, I could have loaded up more stuff, I think, and we could have gotten there, but I was pretty happy with where we got. I ended up sending you Jerry Jeudy and Daniel Bellinger for Drake London.
Yep.
And this is a 2 tight end premium league. I feel good at tight end in that league, though. And Bellinger was just sort of like a beautiful thing I lucked into in that league last year. I had a lot of shares of Bellinger. And so I knew you liked him, right? So this was a chance for me to take an asset that I knew somebody else in my league liked a lot and say, let me add that to a player and get a player at that same position that I like better, right? So I added that to Jerry Jeudy and I got Drake London. And I really like Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, I felt bad taking away your Bronco from you.
No. I got a lot of Jeudy shares, actually. Yeah. I really like Jerry Jeudy. But I also, Jerry Jeudy is like a soft buy for me right now, too. you told me you wanted to sell low on Drake London, and I thought I would give you that opportunity, and I think you did. And if you're right on the evaluation, then I think you'll do very well because Judy's going to be good. But I think Drake London is going to end up being a routine wide receiver one eventually.
You think so? I guess I don't.
Uh,
I truly don't see that for him. That's just the honesty.
I think the ultimate. You may need to wait because that team has not figured it out yet. But like team does not have a quarterback. They've not figured out the passing offense. But he shows signs to me of being a guy who demands targets routinely, like DK Metcalf or like some of those big bodied receivers who it almost doesn't matter who's throwing the football. They're very hard to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt good about getting to a player of that age, and then the other thing is I'm resetting a lot of age things, right? Like Judy, I think Judy's going to eventually come around here, right? But like he's going into year 4, right? So there's also like risk there. Like if he has a bad year this year with Sean Payton, like at some point people are going to stop being nice about that, right?
No, I agree. It's certainly a make or break year for all of them.
Yeah.
Judy is a big component of that.
So for me, I don't think there was a huge upgrade, but I don't think I gave up a huge second pick.
Yeah, I was able to add a tight end, and I need one so bad. I mean, it's a 2 tight end premium league, and I have Hooper and Kylan Granson currently, so I had to get somebody in there. I liked it. I like getting a 2 for 1. Judy and London are virtually the same age, so I was cool with that. Judy's 23 and London reads at 22 right now. So.
Yeah. Yes, but yeah. But then there's like contract stuff and changing teams. And...
there's a lot more. There's a lot of variance on both sides. I think. I don't know.
Yeah. I just
Judy has some immediate variables with the contract stuff, though. I love Sean Payton though, and I think Denver sorts it out.
Yeah. Here's hoping.
We'll see.
Here's hoping. Yeah, I know. But I also have Andrews and Njoku, and
your team looks great. A lot better than my disaster. I've got to hit on these picks.
Trey McBride and Ferguson, right? So I feel pretty. Yeah, your team needs those picks. You got a lot of picks.
Yeah.
But I think I felt pretty good at tight end to where I didn't think I was giving up a lot of points next year to move up. Anyway, good trade. I think that was
good
a
deal,
win.
Man. Maybe we'll track that. We'll see how that develops. Every time Bellinger scores a touchdown, I'm going to post it in chat.
Yeah. Hey, have you been hearing some buzz about the 23 picks being not as good as everybody thought?
Yeah, but like that's kind of a rhythm to the offseason as I've seen. Like there's all this build up, and then once it gets like the end of the college season, the hype gets faded, and everyone's always talking about a class that's 2 years away. And I feel like it's been that way for at least the 3-4 years I've been following it heavily.
With the exception of hated the 22 class way early.
Yeah.
Like people didn't like that class a year out.
No,
that one, which is what makes this one weird. Liked the 23 class for 2 years.
Yep. And yeah, now they're starting to pull back on it, but like I feel like that, like I said, that occurs like this time in the off season most years.
Yes.
People pull back on it, and then the class that's 1 year off gets all this hype and all this amazement.
So let's take advantage of that, right, out here in the multiple first community.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think legit it is not a great wide receiver. And it especially pales in compared to last year's wide receiver class, which was epic, right? We had 13 wide receivers get top 54 draft capital, and that might be 6 this year.
Yep.
This is not that class. Although Jackson Smith and Jigba might be best wide receiver in the 2-year period, maybe. For me, he's probably the best profile coming out of the 2 years. Although we'll see where the draft capital goes, right? And like we're not done with it, but like so far, I think he has a path to be the number 1 prospect coming out. That's not to say I would trade Garrett Wilson for him, because we've seen Garrett Wilson do it in the NFL. But there's a little bit at the top of this class, but it does get dicey early. But man, are those running backs good? They're so deep.
There's so many of them.
Right.
Yeah, you could just, if you walk out of your draft with like 7 rookie tailbacks, you got to be stoked if you're one of these people that has a bunch of extra picks.
Yeah, that's it. You got to have so many tailbacks. You got to have so many of these young running backs. And we don't know how they're going to fall yet, right? So if you're in any kind of draft where you're drafting the rookies live, like you are, I feel like it's a little bit dicey. Like it's like triple dicey right now to draft a Kendrick or an A-Chain or a Tank Bigsby.
Yeah.
Any of those guys, right? I think that it's very risky because there's a whole draft process and all that capital that could go bad. And they're probably going to be guys, even once you know where they land, even if they get the draft capital you want, where they're then going to have to develop, right? But so you could lose in the draft and you could lose in the development. Whereas after the draft, if you know where they were taken and you draft them appropriately for draft capital,
it makes you feel a lot safer.
Yeah, you've only got that developmental, which is still significant, right? A lot of these guys they're not all going to pan out. But I think if you see any hint that people are fading 23 picks, just go take advantage, scoop them, right? Wasn't that the lesson last year? Is like punt this whole draft class, load up on next year's draft class is bad.
Yeah, well now it's good. Is that what you're saying? To get in, to get in here into this class now.
Get into this
punt.
Class.
Sorry, I was trying to follow you. Yeah.
Don't punt. Don't punt. In 2022, when we were told to punt the current draft class for the 23 class.
Yeah, sell your pick straight across with like no time value.
That's always a bad idea.
That's usually pretty bad. Yeah.
Or even or even like try to get don't get the 23 first, get the 24 first and second, or whatever. Because the class value, right? Like even if you're getting a little time value, just the whole idea that we're targeting the later instead of this year.
Yeah.
Because you and I, the multiple first strategy is like when you decide you're rebuilding, you take 2 years of picks, right?
Yep.
So if you sell off all your pieces now, you're taking 23 and 24 picks.
Yep.
You're not fading 23 picks for 24,
no.
Right? And our teams where we did this last year, we're just loaded at wide receiver coming into this big running back class. So I just think you have to fade the conventional wisdom, or like buck the convention, be contrarian with the conventional wisdom that this class is a lot weaker than was expected. It's going to be a really good class, man.
It is, and I think it was a really good show too. We're coming across the hour mark here. Thank you so much for staying with us this whole time here, friendly listeners, friendly first round picks out there. Go ahead and leave a comment, subscribe, and just let us know what you think of the show. Leave any comments about our picks, who you would have taken in my selection there. Tell me how I should have gone, Kyle Pitts or Mark Andrews. But thank you for joining in, and have a good night, guys.